G'day and welcome to Insights and Storytellings with me, Moon Willow. As always, it is an absolute honour and privilege to have you join me with the meanderings of my mind that brings out these stories. And I am really conscious of the energy that you provide to these stories as well, and that just adds a different level of complexity, which I absolutely adore with this. Other than feeling the need to do a storytelling tonight, I have no real idea where it's going to go. So with that in mind, I'm going to start by drawing a crystal and seeing which chakra wants to be heard. So if you could focus on the purple bag, and we'll see which crystal wants to come out. So tonight we've got citrine. So we're going into our solar, our energy center, and our power base. So the other one, the couple of nights ago, was around our sacral. So within the chakra system, in the way that I understand it anyway, the sacral space is underneath the solar, so it comes upwards. So the sacral has a very fluid emotional center, and that's where we have our gut responses, and we're able to figure out what we would like to create for ourselves and put out to the universe as well. The sort of life that we would like, the sort of world we'd like to be a part of. And within that, I think I was talking the other night about how we co-create with the universe the life that we would like and how we feel within our world, and remembering to notice what comes in. So the next chakra up is the solar plexus. So really this sort of area. So sacral is looks more sort of like at the feminine aspects, so the fluid, the emotional. So going into the solar is where we start to get the energy, start to get the power, to start putting these concepts and creative ideas into fruition and give it the energy, give it the power to produce it, to bring it about. But a lot of sort of the stories that sort of end up in the solar plexus tends to be around our worthiness and whether we actually feel worthy for the things coming in from the universe. We may notice it in our sacral area, but we may end up inadvertently putting blocks and stop the flow going up into our heart space, because we're concerned that we don't deserve it, and we can end up second guessing what's coming in from the universe. So we may notice abundance, we may notice that things are starting to fall into place, but we begin to question it because of our underlying insecurities, our underlying feeling of worth, and whether we actually deserve it, the stories that go along with that. And the solar tends to be more sort of masculine, more logical, but that logic may be out of kilter. If you think about it, if those stories from old where somehow we've swallowed, or that we're not worthy, that there is a darkness present within us, that we don't deserve things to go right, doesn't matter how much we put out for abundance, we're not going to get it because we don't actually deserve it, or as it starts to come in, we question it because we have got that underlying narrative going off. So we can get in our own way. So for me, this crystal coming out tonight is very much about, again, just witnessing how we divert our power, or we switch it off, really. that we sort of get into the progress of creating the type of world we want. We ask for support from the universe, and as it starts to come in, it's almost like we block it, or we don't allow our energy to build into it to be able to move forward. So for me tonight, this crystal, this area that's speaking, is reminding us to actually get out of our own way and actually recognize our power, our divine power, and allow ourselves the awareness that actually we are worthy, that we do deserve things to start coming together, that we don't need to live in darkness, that actually we're entitled to live in light, that we can question things and not be bad people for that, that we can actually co-create with the universe around us an interesting and powerful life that brings in abundance and enables us to move forward. And within that as well, it's also about noticing what's coming up from the sacral, also recognizing the link between the two of the sacral and the heart. So looking at our heart's desires, going back into our gut feel, whether it feels right or not, noticing how we'd like to create a life that we would like to live, and looking at sort of how the universe is supporting us in that, and then holding that in our solar plexus and putting the energy and the power. So looking at things sort of like on a logical level, sort of recognizing that although we may be expecting things to come in one way, that actually they may present in a different way but bring us to the same destination or a better destination. But we need to be conscious of where that energy is, and where are we putting our energy as well. Are we putting our energy into negative fear-based programming, anxiety, or are we actually focusing on what we would like to bring about in our lives, and recognizing that we have the power to do that? The sky is the limit, basically. And if we get out of our own way, then we can actually, and focus, we can actually direct that energy into producing the type of life we would like. So I hope this is making sense. I'm going to shuffle the cards and see which cards come out for continuing this story. I really like citrine. It's a beautiful sunstone. It always reminds me of the sun and brightness and lightness, and being able to move forward out of the shadow, but recognizing that in the light, the shadow continues to exist, and the brighter a light, the darker the shadow, I guess. But they work in harmony. So the three cards tonight are the owl, the man, and the mouse. So the owl is, so coming up from sacral space into solar, is actually looking at how we disperse our energy and our power. And if we're listening to external voices or our internal thought process, that can dissipate any power that we may have. We can end up second guessing it as well. We can end up second guessing our power. And I don't know how many of you out there sort of have this, where things start to be going right, And that's unusual. So you start looking for things to be going wrong, and it's almost like we're calling that in. And that again can come from past experiences or past tales that we've heard, that for every time something goes right, then we've got to wait for the trip up, that there's got to be, it can't always go right, that there's got to be something that goes wrong, and we can end up having that. And some of this for me, for this card for me as well, is that the current narrative around the world of fear. And it's almost, I've noticed recently that it's almost like one particular narrative is starting to lose its potency. So there seems to be sort of like another one that's being pushed at the minute. And it's almost like we're not allowed to catch our breath. We're not allowed to sort of sit serenely and comfortably, realizing that we have actually got the power, we've got the free will, we've got the sovereignty to move forward in a manner that suits us. That as we start to do that, we start looking for, on an unconscious level, I don't think this is done in a conscious level at all, but for things that are going to trip us up or that are not going to go right, that may end up blocking us. And because we start looking for that, then inadvertently that can block us. So for me, this card is just really highlighting, giving us an opportunity to have awareness that a lot of the problems that we come across are actually our own creation. And so it's really good to take this time to really sit with our solar and really notice where that energy is going. Are we inadvertently diverting that energy, or have we got clear energy that can actually hold and support us in coming up from the sacral area, coming up to create the type of world we would like to live in and the experiences that we would like to have, and notice whether that energy from the solar plexus is actually about supporting that, or are we buying into the unconscious and constant thought processes that could be running off. I'm hoping this is making sense. Anyway, so the next card is the Man, so which ties in nicely with the citrine and the solar plexus, because for me there tends to be a more masculine feel, that it's more logical. But even within logic, we can have an illogic component going off. But because we think it's coming from that sort of sensible space, we can end up giving it more credence than it's worth. Or we can fool ourselves into thinking that what we're hearing is correct. So it's giving it structure. It's giving the sacral and what we're creating some structure. It's actually standing into, so masculine tends to be considered a stronger way of being. We need all of it, in my opinion. We need all of it to actually merge together. No one bit is more positive or negative than the other. But if we disregard the logic, and if we're given an opportunity to move in a way that is logical, but we want to go on a different level, we may actually be shooting ourselves in the foot, as it were. So really taking time on that masculine side, recognizing that we have got the power and the energy to be able to move forward, to actually do things logically and give it a construct to go forward. The last card is the mouse. So I always consider this as a robber mouse, and generally losing energy, robbing us of energy. And I think that ties in really well with the with what I've been saying in regards to sort of getting into those thought processes. Our feelings of worthiness and being good enough, and sometimes actually being fearful of the power that we possess. There is a fear, or there's been given to us this concept that it's wrong to be powerful, that we may end up hurting other people if we step into our power. We need to turn it down. And that is a way of losing energy, because we're trying, as I'm saying, it's trying to dissipate it. So how are we losing the energy, the power basis of our solar plexus? Noticing the thought processes that go into it. Every chakra is tied together. They don't live independently of each other. They are all integrated. And it's when that there becomes a disconnection between them that we tend to have problems. So very much for me at the moment with this robber mouse, it's sort of coming in with the throat chakra, but that internal dialogue. And have we got that dialogue of not being worthwhile, that we could end up hurting someone if we step into our power? We shouldn't shine so brightly because we may hurt somebody else. And a lot of that is probably going to come from past experiences in childhood and information given to us growing up. So it's actually sitting again and being aware of where those thoughts are coming from. Is there something nibbling at the edges? Are we feeling like we have not been given a choice to live our lives in the way we'd like to live it? Recognizing that we do have the power and the free will to make those decisions for ourselves. And if we try and hide from them or hide from ourselves, we can lose a lot of energy. So for me, this reading is about actually stepping into our power and seeing the way that we are inadvertently losing that power. Are we using our power, our solar plexus, to prevent ourselves from going forward? Are we allowing the whispers of others or our past experiences to prevent us from actually stepping fully into our power, fully stepping into our ability to rescue ourselves, to actually progress forward? And how are we losing energy? Because if we're not allowing our power to freely flow, if we're getting sidetracked too much, we can end up becoming too tired, and then we can end up not doing what we need to do because we haven't got the energy. So this is a real time to hold firm, really step into ourselves, anchor deeply into ourselves as well, and recognize that we have got the power to choose, that no matter what others are saying to us, if we sit quietly with ourselves and actually notice how we're diverting the energy and dissipating it, keeping it down, we can actually allow that energy to flow, to move forward. So anyway, I hope that this is making sense to some of you out there. yeah, it just feels really important just to really honor and hold our energy center, recognizing that we are worthy, that we have got a right to be here, we have got a right to live our lives in a manner that feels right for us, that we have got the energy to support our creative flow and can give it some structure and move through and forward into our beauty and our powerful beingness. Anyway, I'm going to see which energy sound comes out for us this evening. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you are interested in individual storytellings, just follow the links in the description box. With a bit of luck, I'll be back in the next couple of days or so. I'm not entirely sure, but it really felt right to do this evening. So I do hope that this resonates for some of you out there. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Bye for now.